Hey guys, Shot Midget here. So I had a customer send me two guns from Michigan. This is the first one that I got finished, waiting on parts for the other one. So this one is an M4 carbine by Classic Army. It is their polymer gun. I had one of these. In fact, I think it was actually the exact same model. They come with like the MOSFET gearbox. Now that gearbox was taken out. We'll start from the back and go to the front. So it's just got a standard crane stock on here. It does have the back portion. Tan, of course, metal buffer tube, ambidextrous sling mount so you can clip it, plastic receiver, polymer. It's actually a pretty good plastic. It's decently well built. Standard pistol grip, standard selector switch. The rail on here is also polymer. It's just a plastic. That would be nice to be metal, but these guns I think are around like 160 bucks. And it is a key mod rail, and it does have a section on the bottom, so I assume there's probably a grip. It looks like something's attached there. Normally he just took it off for shipping purposes, and there's probably an optic on there as well, just to complete the look of the gun. You don't need any of those things for airsoft, but it makes the gun look complete, if you will, customized. Now on the front it does have a suppressor. I'm not sure what brand it is. I have no clue. It's not hollow. It is like a solid piece. These are good for like extending your barrel inside, which is exactly what was done. So it's not foam filled or anything like that. It does have a metal barrel, outer barrel, and it does have a VFC gearbox. So the guy ditched the Classic Army gearbox, and I think he did that because he added upgrades to the original gearbox and did not keep the standard sector gear, which has the magnet that tells the MOSFET to stop shooting. So he said it was shooting full auto only, so he didn't know what the issue was. I would have been able to tell him you need to use the stock sector gear. But anyways, he bought a VFC gearbox before he had messaged me for me to work on his gun. So there is a VFC gearbox in here. It's one of the newer ones. Really good quality. I'm really impressed with VFC's newer gearboxes. Their older ones, I'm talking like pre-2014, had the polycarbonate piston that were absolute trash. But ever since like 2015, 2016, they've been making pretty good gearboxes. So as you can see, VFC gearbox. It is the quick change version, which is awesome. So really good gearbox quality. In terms of upgrades, it has a ASG 40K motor, neo magnet motor, and a metal rack piston. Other than that, it's got the stock metal piston head, stock gears, and sector chip on there. I did modify the tappet plate spring so it's more powerful because it's shooting faster, so you had to do that. It also has the stock basic type VFC MOSFET. Now, the fuse was busted. He said it just wasn't shooting because the fuse was busted. Came with a 25 amp fuse, so I put a 40 amp fuse in there and then heat shrinked it back up so it's nice and good to go, and that should hold up. I assume he was running this, it was stock, so I don't know how the fuse broke. Typically 25 amp fuses are going to be good enough for a stock setup, so I don't know what happened, but 40 amp will definitely be better, especially with the 40K motor and an 11.1. It will need that 40 amp. So other than that, I've pretty much gone over everything. It does have the VFC straight trigger. Again, everything else is VFC in here. Now I will say the inner barrel is pretty long, so it probably could use a full cylinder, but that cylinder is the stock VFC, and it's has a port in there. Here is the barrel setup. So this is an Angel Custom 601 barrel, steel. It also has the EMG hop-up. Basically, it is a max hop-up. It's just EMG licensed or whatever because it's blue. Normally theirs are red, right? And they also have a green version. They have a bunch of different colors, but it retains BBs as you saw there. I poured them out. But I also have it's flat hopped, and I put a different bucking in here. The one that he had did not work at all, so this one is a Lonex 50 degree. So the one that was in here was a Crytac, and it was just too hard. It was a harder bucking, and basically the BBs were clogging, and then I switched it out and it fixed that issue completely. So in terms of feet per second, it is shooting 330, 335 with a .25, which is like 375 with a .2, give or take. Battery that I'm using is a 1250 15 to 25C 11.1 Tamiya connector. As you can see, that's what's on here. Now, the battery that he's going to be using is, I recommended him to get a 2000 milliamp that fits in the stock. It's one of the round type. It's not the Titans, but I think it's Matrix. They sell like the round ones. They're basically copies of the Titans. And it is a 2000 milliamp, so it's a little bit more milliamp than this, but the same C rating. It is pre-cocking a little bit, not too crazy because it is a 120 spring, but you know, trigger response is pretty dang good for standard trigger contacts. No micro switch, but it does have the basic MOSFET, which will protect the trigger contacts from corrosion with an 11.1 LiPo. So for the magazines, I'm going to use a VFC mid-cap, a GMP mid-cap. Both of those are about 5 or 6 years old, so, and then a Crytac high cap. I am using 0.25 BBs. That is what I would recommend. Haven't tried this with mid-caps yet, so let's go ahead and see how they work. I do have it overhopped a little bit. Wow, it actually fed the mid-cap completely. So that's pretty impressive. Wasn't expecting that. It's shooting about 26 RPS is what I got on the chrono. Let's try the VFC mag. Wow, looks like it runs just fine as well. But I would say 200 feet, if not a little bit further. All right, so I think that is enough. What is that, about 500 BBs within 2-3 minutes, about 3 minutes of shooting. And the battery's a little warm, but nothing else is. The grip's not even warm yet. The MOSFET's not really warm. It was just the battery that was a little warm. Not too hot though, like I can handle it, nothing crazy. So this is the second gun. It is a G&G, just combat machine, GR16, one of the cheaper ones. This isn't a newer version. I believe they probably still make these, but they're not the key mod railed version with like the billet style looking receiver. They're all polymer, but you get the point. So we'll start from the back and go to the front. There is a standard crane stock on here. I do have a battery in there. Battery that I have in here is a Nanotech 2000 milliamp. It is a 15 to 25C. It's a nunchuck. It's identical to what he's gonna buy. I think the one he's buying is a Matrix. It's from Evike. I think it's a Matrix one, but it's a 2000 and literally 15 to 25C. So literally the same power as what I have in here. He's gonna be using wired to Dean's. Metal buffer tube, sling mount here. Standard G&G receiver, nothing special. There is a magwell grip. I don't like those. It's just too bulky and I hate it, but some people like that, so it is what it is. If you can't tell, the gun's tan. The optic on the top is just a no-name, probably, I'm guessing 20 or 30 bucks. It does turn on, it's green and red. So, I mean, it works, but just for looks pretty much. And that's in tan, so it does match the gun. The flashlight on here is a joke. They're not gonna be playing indoor, apparently. There's going to a different outdoor field. I don't know if they moved, something like that, but they're in a different location, I guess, and they're going to a different field, and it's outdoor. So I don't think they're going to be playing indoor. He said he didn't think there's an indoor field around, because I was about to recommend him a actually decent flashlight, but I don't think he's playing indoor, so probably should just cut the tape and pull that off. The outer barrel is metal. The rail is plastic, polymer, whatever. Metal barrel, threaded. I assume there's something he put on here. The other gun that I did, the Classic Army with the VFC gearbox, has a suppressor on it as well. So there might be a short suppressor on this one. I'm not sure because it wasn't in the box. Now onto the internals, the hop up. There's a Pro 1 hop up. It is a Crytek bucking, unmodified, and then a Angel Custom 6.03 inner barrel right there, steel. It has an SHS motor, SHS 12-to-1 gears, SHS metal rack piston, a ZCI M110 spring, a Jeftron Leviathan. So it's got the Leviathan trigger. I did shorten the trigger pull, wired to Dean's. It's got the fuse back there. It is the original version, so it's the micro switch, not the optical. I did just update it through the app. It needed updated. Piston head is also SHS. Everything else is stock otherwise. Oh, SHS tappet plate as well. That just worked a little bit better with feeding. In terms of performance, it shoots really far. 200 feet, I mean, it really does shoot really well. FPS-wise, it's about 315 with .25s, 315 to 320. So it is indoor legal, probably about 355. So if they do play indoor, he can use this. And when I say they, him and his dad, because this is his dad's gun. So yeah, rate of fire, it's getting between 30 and 32 RPS is what I was getting on the chrono. It is really windy out here, and it's like 30 degrees, give or take, 25. It started to get really cold. It's so weird. Yesterday was like 55 degrees, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's 30 or below. So that's awesome. So I noticed with the G&P mag, it does skip on full auto. It's maybe 75, 80% of the BB speed, but it skips a decent enough to actually notice. So semi-auto is what I'll do on the rest of this mag. This is a VFC mid-cap, .25s. This one should feed on full auto. Couple skips at the end there. Now the two mid caps that I just shot out of this thing are like 5-6 years old, so really old springs. I shoot these out of customers' guns all the time. This is a 4-year-old Crytek high cap. All right, we're shooting long range now. All right, we're almost out of BBs, but I'll get some full auto here. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.